Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to BiblioTech on Air. I'm Rosanna. And then Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
And today we are joined by famous international author Agustina Bazterrica, an award-winning Argentinian author best known for her internationally acclaimed novels such as Tender is the Flesh and The Unworthy. Her work has sparked global conversations for the way it blends dystopia, horror, and sharp social commentary. You can find both of these books on Hoopla and cloudLibrary with your BiblioTech library card. If you don't have a card and are are a Bexar County resident, you can register at our new website, bibliotech.org. And if you'd like to dive deeper, make sure you check out our other episodes, specifically the ones where we discuss The Unworthy and Tender is the Flesh. All right, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Our first question. What's up?
I'm gonna interrupt you because my boss told me to do a shout out to Outreach. So I'm doing a shout out to Outreach, especially Jerry who helped make the new website. Okay, that's it.
We love that. Thank you, Jerry. That was an amazing job you did for the website. Okay, so for our first question, for those who may not be familiar, could you share a little bit about what your journey as a writer has been like and what first inspired you to tell these stories?
Okay, my journey. Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. And then, I've been writing since before knowing what a writer is. Because when I was a kid and I was at school and I was learning how to write, my mother told me that they put in the boards where they announce things and whatever, they put my little short stories. So, I mean, there is the start. I always wanted to tell stories, I guess. And then when I was a teenager, I had a diary. I wrote a diary because we didn't have cell phones nor computers. And I wrote really bad poems, extremely bad poems. But then when I finished school, I met my mentor and friend and teacher. She's called Liliana Diaz Mindurri. And I know her since I was 19 years old, and now I'm 51. And just yesterday, I had a Zoom with her because we were correcting a short story. So, I mean, it's crazy. I know her for a long, long time. So I started attending her workshops, writing workshops here in Argentina. We have a lot of writing workshops, a lot of events, cultural events. And this is the city with the most quantity or number of bookstores in the world.
Oh,
so being a writer here is the best. Like you have a lot of options. So I started working with her and learning with her, and then I started getting some literary prizes. But in 2017, I won the Clarín Prize with Tender is the Flesh, that in Argentina, the title is Cadáver Exquisito. And the Clarín Prize, Clarín is a newspaper, is the biggest newspaper here in Argentina, but also the prize, the literary prize, is one of the most important prize in Latin America and for all the people that speak Spanish. So winning that prize is really, really important. So I won that prize, and then I republished my short stories in 2020 here in Argentina and in the United States. I don't remember when. And then I published The Unworthy, that it's actually my third novel, but my first novel, I will never republish it or translate it because it's really bad. That is like and in the middle, I studied art history in the university, and I worked for a long time as a secretary in a law firm because I had to pay my rent and everything.
of course.
I got married and whatever, life. but that is like the literary journey, more or less.
Wow. So that you've come quite the way from just making these little short stories as a kid and, like you said, the bad poems from your teens to winning one of the most prestigious awards in, like you described, in, Latin American literature. So that's incredible. And then I can kind of see how when you mention art history being a field of study for you, how that kind of gets factored into your stories, because the way you just describe some of these scenes and like the environment, and just you can feel like the layers of like just that history behind them. So it's amazing to see how all of that came together.
Yeah, because I mean, I have a lot of images in my head because I've been studying images and works of art for a long time at the university, and the exams were really, really hard. Like the last exam I have to take to get my degree, it took 6 hours of exam,
6
writing
hours.
and oral and writing, 6 hours.
That's insane.
And I had to study like 6 months for that. For that subject, because it was so demanding that it was really difficult to approve. Like, so I mean, really, it's like analyzing a short story or a novel. Analyzing a work of art is the same. You have to you have to read a lot. So when I write, I have all that images, but also I'm pretty conscious of the difference that you say in English, the difference between telling and showing. I don't know if you know this difference, but telling, some writers just tell. It's like they inform what is happening. And showing is, for me, it's creating a world with sensations, with colors, with smells, and you are showing your characters. So, for example, telling is saying something like, I don't know, Michelle is crying. You don't know how she is crying, Showing is, I, as a writer, will describe how Michelle cries. And the reader will see in the head Michelle crying. So doing that in an entire novel, it's pretty difficult. But also, for me, it's the difference between a book I would like to read and a book that it's really boring. Because the books that are only informed, for me, are really boring.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For sure. I mean,
so I write with images. That is the conclusion of what I'm saying.
Yeah. I can totally go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, no, I could totally see that. And you're right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, definitely. To piggyback on that, I mean, so the first novel that I read from you was The Unworthy. And I particularly remember while reading it being like, wow, this is such vivid imagery. Like, I'm not just, I'm experiencing this along with the character. Like, I just remember thinking just how descriptive and how beautiful it was to experience how the character, when she's out there in the forest and just kind of remembering everything about her past. I just remember exactly how you were saying, like, it's important to not just tell it, but describe, tell how they're feeling, and that's very evident.
Well, thank you, because it's really hard to go there. Like, you have to really, because I mean, I think that literature and of course art, but literature, it's a question of equilibrium. If you show too much, maybe you get to describe the text. It's really described. No, how you say it?
Like descriptive.
Yeah. Descriptive, and it's boring. And if you just informed, it's also boring. So you have to mix it and know how to do it. Like, yeah, it's a technique that you have to, in my opinion, correct a lot and read a lot, and
Yeah, that makes sense. So the next question that I have is, so both tender is the flesh and the unworthy create such unsettling worlds. Where do you usually draw inspiration for your novels? And what kind of ideas push you to start writing? Also, the thing that I'll throw out too is, because I've read different interviews that you've done with just other people, panels that you've been on, whatnot. And one of the things that I found interesting is that you talk, or you get approached a lot about like the feminist movement, like the Spanish feminist movement with like Mariana Enriquez, Monica Orejas, like all of those. Yeah, yes. So all of
Monica
those.
Ojeda, Samantha Schweblin, Mariana Enriquez, Maria Fernanda Ampuero, and a lot of,
Yeah, and you guys, the horror that all of you write, it's so intriguing, and it's very beautiful, but it's all very different. You guys have very different, how do you, in Argentina, for an example, or even like past, how much of that is affected by what you write?
Okay, I will answer first this last question and then the other one. Like, first, I have to say that I live in Latin America, and living in Latin America, Argentina, you know where it is. It's in the south. But although our countries, I think they're fascinating, and I love, love, love Latin America a lot because people are really kind and they're really, they have a lot of solidarity. And here, maybe something is happening to you in the street, and a stranger will come and will help you. And really, you can talk with any stranger. And although we have insecurity and whatever, you can make a friend in a street. Like, it's crazy. But here, Argentinians and in Latin America in general, they're amazing. But on the other hand, we are countries that we're always, especially Argentina, in crisis, constant crisis, economical crisis, corrupt crisis, like there was a podcast from some guys from United States that a reader sent me, and they liked Tender is the Flesh, but they were saying that that would never happen because the government would never take your animals and kill them. And I thought, but you never lived in Latin America, man, because that is, of course, the minimum thing that can happen. Here in Argentina in the 70s, we had dictatorships where they took your loved ones from their houses, they kidnapped them, they torture them, and they disappear their bodies, So, and also being a woman, although I am a woman and I have a lot of privilege, you never know what can happen to you being a woman in Latin America. So what happened to me in Mexico, this happened to me, was that I went to Tulum, that is in the beach, and then I had to go to Cancun to take to the airport to get back to Argentina. So when you go from Tulum to Cancun, you have to take a car, and more or less it's 1 hour and a half. And I rented a car to go with other tourists because I was alone. But nobody came. I was the only passenger with the driver. And I started, because I'm Latin America, so I start talking with the driver and whatever. And a police car started chasing us.
Oh.
And I told him, why is this police car chasing us? And he answered me this: I will not stop because we did nothing, but if I stop, I don't know what can happen to you.
Oh.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, wow.
So I'm alive because this guy was an honest guy.
Yeah.
But I know people, and of course we have the statistic that are not alive, a lot of women. So with all this violence, I need to write about, and I need to understand that. But it's not only Latin America. Now we have groups of men in Germany, in Italy, and other parts of the world sharing the photos of their loved ones, of their partners, in these groups with, I don't know, 50,000 men sharing photos. So the violence, it's so extreme that I need to understand why we still live in this patriarchy, you know?
Yeah.
And why, you know, and why? I mean, it's
How
incredible.
Is it allowed?
So that is why I write. And I think I share that with other writers, Latin America writers, as Mónica Ojeda, for example. Mariana Enriquez, she writes more, I think, about the dictatorship here, but she has other stories with that could be read as feminist. And also Maria Fernanda Ampuero, that she's from Ecuador. Mónica Ojeda is from Ecuador. Also Pilar Quintana, she's from Colombia, and well, other writers. Yeah, so that is one of the questions.
I love that. I love that response. Yes.
Okay, and the other question, it was about how I think about the ideas of my novels.
Yeah, like, so what pushes it, to you writing?
Well, the thing is that I always say that there's no originality in this sense, that all the themes are already written.
Yeah.
You know? So the thing that a writer, in my opinion, has to get is how is going to tell the story. In the how you're going to tell it, you have everything. And if you tell it in a way like a special way, or the originality is there, maybe your work will be, I don't know, will be perceived as original. But all the books are made with other books, you know, like we read a lot, so you have everything there. And also, for example, about cannibalism, there were a lot of books written before my book, and a lot of books that are going to be written, and it is like that, you know. And also we have the collective unconsciousness, you say?
Oh, like, yes.
Inconsciente colectivo.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So we maybe have artists thinking about the same things in different parts of the world, and they never meet and they never reach each other or whatever. So having said this, when I think about an idea, for example, in the case of Tender is a Flesh, was because I talk a lot with my brother, that he's a chef, and the book is dedicated to my brother. And because I talk a lot about slow food and about eating better and whatever, I stopped eating meat here in Argentina. In Argentina, meat is like a religion, you know? And I was vegetarian, because now I'm not. And if you want to, I will tell you why. But I was vegetarian for 10 years. So when I stopped eating meat here, what I realized was that we naturalize eating meat, and we don't even know that maybe in other countries, I don't know, cows are sacred, like in India, or in other countries like in China, they eat cats and dogs. And here in Argentina, they're our pets, our loved ones. I have 3 cats, and they're my family. I will never think about eating them. So I started thinking about that, and I thought, we are animals and we are made of meat, so we could be hanging there in the butcher's house, you know, in the butcher shop. And so I had the idea, but I didn't have the how to tell the story. So I studied 6 months about how the slaughterhouse works, about the rights of the animals, and of course about cannibalism. And I read a lot of essays. And usually in the United States, they ask me what horror books I read, and it's like, I don't write horror. You know, like for me, Tender is a Flesh is not horror. It could be, but it's also ecofeminist, and it's also a dystopia, and it's also, I don't know, whatever. I don't think in terms of genres. I think in terms of everything is literature. So I didn't even read any dystopia at the time I was researching. I read a lot of essays. I read a lot of essays and poetry. So after 6 months, I started writing because I found the narrator and I found the way I wanted to tell it. And the way difference from the Unworthy, it's that the phrases are really short, and the type of writing, it's really simple, because I wanted the phrases to like hit the reader, like like hurting the reader. And it should, like, I thought this had to be really simple because the story is so horrifying that if I write it in a more baroque way, it will be illegible. Yeah, you could never read this. So the way, it's everything. With the Unworthy, I was in the book fair in Cusco in Peru, and I went to, since I studied art history, of course I love art, and I went to a monastery that now is a museum, and they have this type of Peruvian art that is amazing. But also we have this type of art in the north of Argentina, and I went to some churches to see this type of art. I will show you these ángeles arcabuceros that are angels with these firearms that are really antique. So these, you can find them in the north, in Cusco in Peru, and also in the north of Argentina. And I was looking at one of these paintings, and I was alone in this museum. There were no tourists, and I turned around and I saw a nun praying, and I almost died of a heart attack because it was a museum. It was not a monastery. So I got near the nun, and it was a mannequin.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I thought it was even sinister. So I thought, I have to write about nuns. I went to a nun school here in Argentina, a German nun school. I was educated there, and they were the worst. So that book comes from that experience, actually.
That's about right.
It's not, I mean, I laugh now, but it was not funny. It was the worst. Like, they were the worst. And we were all girls, no boys. I didn't have any boyfriends, like friends that were boys. All professor women, the nuns, and only one priest. So that is the structure of the Unworthy,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I start writing when I had like the pieces I needed to write. I reread the Bible, because we have to, in my university, you have to go to some exams with the Bible, because you have to analyze it. I reread parts of the Bible. I read a really important essay for that book that it's called Caliban and the Witch by Silvia Federici. She was born in Italy, but now she's living in the United States. And she analyzes why during centuries women were burned, being accused of being witches. And spoiler alert, capitalism, because of course they wanted women to stop being independent and just get in their houses and have kids, because they needed cheap labor. And also I read a book that it's called Silent Spring from Rachel Carson. She's from United States, and she analyzes how pesticides were made and the consequences that is, okay, you don't have any more animals or insects because pesticides kill everything. So with all that information, I start writing, but most of the information from the unworthy, I have it because I lived the situations, you know. They didn't cut my tongue literally, but they did it symbolically, you know. So all the oppression that you read in the unworthy, I live it in the school.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's very personal, and it makes so much sense because it kind of seems like when you read the book, you're like, oh my goodness, she has either done her research so well, or this is coming from personal experience. Because
I mean both, because I'm obsessive, so I need to research.
Fair.
Yeah, because for me, one of the most important things when you're writing is plausibility. And if you don't know how cult works, and you write about a cult, I, as a reader, will notice that you don't know how a cult works. So I researched about cults, because although I was raised in the Catholic Church and I know a lot about it, I needed to understand why cults exist. And also, I'm really obsessive with details. I don't know, if you're writing about whatever, you need to understand what you're writing about, because even if you write one word, like one phrase, I, as a reader, will understand if you know or you don't know. If you write about a bird, I don't know, whatever, just one phrase, and you don't know about the bird, I will know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And so with how important it is to, you know, be aware of what you're writing and be aware of how much attention your readers are paying attention to your books. I mean, it's obviously you write them in Spanish, but when they're translated into English, you know, how do you, are you in that translation process, or is that just something that's done without your say and they get put it out?
I mean, Tender is a Flesh was translated to 32 languages. So it's impossible for me to be in every translator, although I'm really flexible, and all the translators have my contact, and some of them write me and I answer every question, but not all of them write me. You know, sometimes I just get the book translated and that's it. And even they change the title and I don't even know about that, you know, like but with some translation I participated, but with the translator that I participated the most was with the English translation, with Sarah Moses, that she's amazing. And what happened was that she translated first for UK, and then for the United States, Scribner asked us to change some words or things. And also it was really amazing because they asked me a lot of questions and I had all the information because I'm obsessive, you know. And also what happened was that, I don't know if you noticed, but the narrator is a third person narrator focused on Marcos. And he never says the word Marcos. He never names Marcos. And that is a silence that is really important in the novel, because a lot of readers will not consciously be aware of that. Some of them will, but unconsciously the silence is there. And for me, it's really important to work with silences in my novels, because I need the readers to be active and to participate and to think. Like, for example, the virus in Tender is a Flesh is real or is not real? It's an invention. I will never tell you, because I want you to think about that. For example, in The Unworthy, you have a lot of circles all around the novel. What are they meaning? They're meaning something. Or you have that description of the dead bird. That description is telling a lot of things. but I'm not going to tell you this is meaning that or that. I need the reader to think about it. So Scribner told us that they wanted the narrator to name Marcos, and with Sarah we say no way, no. That silence is really important, and they respect it.
I wonder now that your work is being translated into English, and there are people like me who are able to get their hands on this and read it. How does that make you feel with us English speakers or English readers reading your material?
I think it's amazing. I'm really glad and grateful, because it's really difficult. I mean, I don't know if you know, but your country, they don't have much translations. The quantity of books, or the number of books that you read translated, at only 3% of all the books that you read. I know this because of my publishers, you know. Here, for example, in Argentina, we have a lot of translate. So maybe I'm reading books translated that people in their country, they don't read, like in the country of the author, they don't read. Because here, well, we have this, culture of reading a lot. But in the United States, I was really surprised, because when the book was translated to English for the UK, my editors told me, no, United States is really difficult to get there in that market. You will not get there. And I was like, well, and then I got, but then they told me that it's really difficult because you only have like 3% of the book translated. And that includes classics, you know? So being contemporary, being from Latin America, and being unknown, it's like, was impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful of being not only translated, but that the book is selling a lot, because that it's also like a miracle.
I'll throw this out before we move to the next question. So after I read your book, I was a vegan. Yeah, I was vegan. So I was plant-based. And I was debating if I should go back to like abandoning the vegan lifestyle, or if I should be vegetarian or not. And so I couldn't decide. And then like by the time I finished your book, I was like, I don't ever want to eat meat. And now I'm vegetarian.
Wow.
But yeah,
Wow.
it made a huge impact on me when it came to that. Yeah.
Wow.
So thank you.
Well, I mean, if you're happy, I'm really, really glad. I always say that I didn't write Tender is a Flesh to convert carnivorous people into vegetarians, because I don't think in those terms. I think that to be a fanatic, it's violent, because I don't want to impose the way I think to other people, and I didn't want to write a pamphlet, like a vegan pamphlet. So, for example, I know people that read the book and then they ate an entire barbecue. So, and other people that read the book, and in your case, they stop eating meat. In my case, something I didn't tell you in one of the answers, I stopped being vegetarian because, and this is something I want to tell in every interview, and I'm doing that because I'm in the perimenopause, and one of the things that can happen to women, not to all the women, but to some women, is that you can have hemorrhages.
Oh, yeah, hemorrhages.
Hemorrhages. But my hemorrhages, they lasted 2 months.
That's horrible.
So it's horrible. It's like the worst thing.
Oh, geez.
So yes. So I was with that like for a year, and I didn't want to eat meat. So I start having fainting, and I went to the doctor, and she told me, I don't know how are you alive, because you don't have like iron in your, you are anemic, completely anemic. so she started giving me these supplements, and they were toxic for me, and I couldn't assimilate them. So we try a lot of things, and at last she told me you have to go and eat meat again, and then when this period stops, you can go to vegetarian again. But I want to tell this because I always say this, that not everyone can be a vegan or a vegetarian. It depends also on the states of life, you know?
Right.
And I never thought this was going to happen to me. Like, I was vegetarian all the way. And it was like, what is happening? You know, what is happening with my body? Like, having a period 2 months. It's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
I
Wow.
hope that, I don't know in what time of your life are you, but I hope, pray to the god of menopause not to have this.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
it's the worst.
scared. Okay, so your novel has really blown up on TikTok, especially on Booktop community. What do you think readers are gravitating towards your work in that space? Or why do you think readers are gravitating towards your work in that space? And how do you feel about your stories reaching audience in such a viral way? And I know you touched based on it a little bit earlier, but in this word, I guess in this situation, I guess, in regards to book talk.
I don't have TikTok.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Either.
That's fair.
I don't understand TikTok. I open a TikTok and I close it because I don't understand. I'm really old for TikTok. But when one of my agents called me and she told me, but you don't have TikTok, but your book is in TikTok, it is exploding. I was like, I don't know. What are you talking about? But I think it's amazing. In that sense, the social media are amazing because now I guess that the classic critic on the newspaper doesn't have the reach of a booktober, for example. Like a booktuber or a TikToker or someone from Instagram, I don't know the names. They have more reach and they have more influence than the classic critic, you know. So it's more democratic even because there are more like influencers reading that maybe one critic in a newspaper, you know. So in that sense, I think it's so amazing. And of course, I'm really grateful because, as I told you before, it's not easy to be published in the United States, and that your book, it's like selling. It's crazy.
And it's great because that gives it a chance to, like you said, appeal to more of a, diverse demographic. Like, you're not just because you already covered with us that you don't see your works coming particularly from a place of horror. So someone who's typically doesn't read that genre might be like, oh, okay, well, if this so and so influencer or is recommending this book, then why not so it's definitely nice to see that.
And here in Argentina, I want to talk now to like more than 100 schools, because here Tender is the Flesh and the short stories are being taught in schools. So I got to talk to teenagers. Like, that is amazing also, because I go to schools, private schools, in private, like how you say, barrios, you know what?
Like neighborhoods and stuff.
Like in private, like we have, well, in the United States, I guess, also like these private, close,
gated communities.
Protected with security, and some of them have schools inside.
Oh, wow.
So I want to talk to that it's really people with a lot of money, and also to schools where you don't have nothing at all. And if the students don't go to school, they don't eat that day, because in the schools they give them something to eat. So I want to talk to all kinds of schools and teenagers, and that it's amazing.
Yeah, I read an article about you talking about that and teaching in schools. Excited you were about it. So what do you want those students to pull from you talking to them? What do you want them to take away?
I mean, first of all, it's amazing what they do with the book, because a lot of them, the professors tell me that they never read an entire book in their life.
Oh.
So that is amazing. I want to talk to a school here. We have, I don't know, in the United States you have that, I guess so, but I don't know. We have schools for adults, for people that maybe didn't finish high school because they had to work or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And now that they're adults, they are going to school at night because they want to have their degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk to some of those schools. And there was this girl, an adult, but a girl she was really young. And she had her kid there, because sometimes they have to take their kids because they don't have a nanny. And she told me, this is the first book I read in my life. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what is success, but this is success.
Yeah.
You know, like this is success.
Yeah.
So they do, if they have a lot of research, it's amazing, because they do a lot of things, like they do book trailers and whatever. If they have little research, they do whatever they can with what they have, but they do a lot of things. And one of the things that I always tell them, and for me this is really important, is that the system today, and especially social media, will teach us to naturalize cruelty and to be individuals, to just think in ourselves. Because if you only think of yourself and you don't have empathy, and you naturalize cruelty, you will tend to buy more and to be in this capitalistic system. So I tell them that if they want to be rebels, if they want to be punk, they should practice tenderness and loving and empathy every day of their lives, because that is real, to be rebel to the system, you know?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's real punk rock.
I know, I love that.
So, of course, looking ahead, what is next for you? And are there any projects or themes that you're excited to explore in your future writing?
Yes. Next year, they will publish an anthology, a book with short stories from Mariana Enriquez, Mónica Ojeda, one short story I wrote specially for that anthology. So next year that will be published. And I'm writing a new novel that is also a dystopia, but it's really, 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 really different from The Unworthy and Tender is the Flesh. And it's not horror at all. That is why I'm telling you I'm not a horror author. And it's written in the way that it's 100% Argentine. And it takes place here in Buenos Aires, in my city. So the way I'm writing it is with all the slang we use and all the insults we use that are really funny, some of them. And I have a lot of reference of things that maybe Argentines will understand. But I know that it's a risk in the sense of translations, but I don't care, because the story is leading me that way, and I will go that way, you know. And if someone from other country don't understand what is whatever, they have Google or I don't know, because I mean, I have to be true to myself, and I need to explore this. It's like a love letter for my country. And of course, there is an extreme situation, and maybe the horror is there, but the way that you have a lot of friendship and other things, it's not like you're going to read and you're going to feel, oh, this is horrible. It's another thing, completely different. Maybe you can laugh, it's completely different from Tender is a Flesh that is 100% darkness. Here, no.
So yeah, I'm not going to shut up about it now. I'm so excited to read this book. But anyway, alrighty. So because we are a library, we do have to end this with probably our favorite question. What are you currently reading?
Oh, I'm reading. I have to look it. It's there in the other. Well, first I'm reading this Reiki book.
Oh, interesting.
I'm in the second level of Reiki, and I'm doing Reiki to my husband.
What?
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, because I do believe in energies, and these are like
the sigils behind you.
Looking at them,
and I meditate, and So I'm reading another book that I have in another room, that it's called Odorama, that it's from an Argentine writer. It's an essay about smells.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Like, for example, how did you imagine how dinosaur smells? Well, he writes about that, about any type of smell, and it's incredible. I started reading this one that it's called Kitchen, from Banana Yoshimoto. She's from Japan, and it's the first novel she wrote, but this is a classic now, because I get together with friends every 15 days, and we choose a book and we read it together. So we first started with this one that is called, in Spanish, El obsceno pájaro de la noche, de José Donoso. He was from Chile, and this book is a classic, but look at the... it's really big, like 700 pages, and it's a really difficult book to read, but we read it with my friends, and this Thursday, jueves is Thursday, no?
Yes, yeah.
Thursday. This Thursday, we're getting together by Zoom and talk about this book that we actually finished. And I also, I'm reading this book that is from Pilar Adon. She's from Spain. And the book is called De Bestias y Aves. I don't know the translation, I don't know, from Beasts and Birds, I guess. And she's contemporary, and she won, I don't know how many prizes for this book. And because I was recently in Spain, I bought it there. So I'm reading all of this.
You are not kidding. You are reading many things right now. That's awesome.
I read a lot of things. Yeah, and I started also yesterday, but I don't have it here, the novel of Stephen Graham Jones. He's from the United States.
Yeah.
It's called The Only Good Indians.
Oh, yes.
Because I will speak with him in Washington in just a few weeks, like the 6th of September, I will speak with him in Washington.
Oh, sweet.
That's going to be cool. Ooh, that kind of conversation is going to be fly on the wall for that.
I know.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that with us. And again, thank you so much for, I know you're super busy, and this interview has been a long time coming, and we're so excited that you finally, were able to give us some of your time. So thank you so much again for joining us. And I'm going to say it on here, but this has probably been my favorite podcast recording or interview we've ever done, just because everything you've had to say and the conversation points you've brought up, it's just been so interesting. And yeah, I'm saying it right now. Favorite to date. So thank you again for giving us so much time.
Thank you so much. I have a great time, girls. So thank you so much.
Yay, we're glad.
Good.
Well, again, everyone, make sure y'all go check out Tender is the Flesh and, of course, The Unworthy. And hopefully, next year we'll get that book in the library when it finally comes out.
Insults.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But again, thank you so much to Agustina Bazterrica for joining us. And Michelle, thank you for hopping on this podcast. And we will catch you guys on the next episode of BiblioTech on Air. Bye.
Bye.